Spartans welcome the Lynn University Fighting Knights. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you please rise as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. Here are today's starting lineups, beginning with the Fighting Knights of Lynn University. At attacker, a 5'7" junior from Woodstock, Ontario, number 45, Caleb Wells. At attacker, 5'8" freshman attacker, number 48, Tommy Rudo. At attacker, 5'10" senior from Tampa, number 6, Davis Diamond. At midfield, 5'8" graduate from Ocean City, Maryland, number 5, Dryden Bruce. At midfield, 6-foot graduate midfielder, number 9, Xander Cosenza. 6'1" senior, number 43, Daniel Lute. The defenders, 6'5" graduate from Nashua, New Hampshire, Cam Holt. 6'3" junior from Delray Beach, number 32, Shane Dodge. 6'1" junior from Boca Raton, number 4, Giuseppe Giuffrida. And the goalkeeper for the Fighting Knights, 6-foot senior from Boca Raton, Jared Chateau. The Fighting Knights are led by head coach Brian Kingsbury. He's assisted by Mark Miller. And now the starting lineups for your University of Tampa Spartans. At attack, 5'11" senior from Toronto, number 44, Ben French. 5'11" freshman from Duxbury, Massachusetts, number 22, Jack Wood. 5'8" junior from Baltimore, number 18, Colin White. The midfielders, 5'6" senior from Berlin, Maryland, number 24, Ross Dickerson. 6-foot junior from Rolling Hills Estates, California, number 20, Scott Phillips. 6'1" sophomore from Parkman, Florida, number 28, Christian Brodiak. A 6'2" senior from Chesapeake, Virginia, number 88, Nick Barrett. A 6-foot junior from Gainesville, Virginia, number 12, Sam Collingwood. A 6'2" freshman from San Diego, number 10, Matthew Godot. And the goalkeeper for the Spartans, 6'1" freshman from Naples, number 4, Blake Palmer. Tampa is led by head coach Rory Whipple. Andrew Pugh, Matt Henry, and Scott Glazer. Ladies and gentlemen, the NCAA, the University of Tampa, and Lynn University all promote good sportsmanship by student athletes, coaches, and spectators. We request your cooperation by supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Using obscene gestures, profanity, racial, sexist, or unduly provocative language or action towards officials, spectators, or administrators will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal from the premises.
Good afternoon from the Namoli Family Athletic and Intramural Complex on the grounds of the University of Tampa campus. This afternoon, the Tampa Spartans playing host to the Lynn Fighting Knights. I'm Bruce Wozniak here to call the action for you on a sunny 87-degree Saturday afternoon. And what an afternoon of lacrosse we should have on tap for you here as the Spartans put their perfect one-loss record of 8-0 on the line against a Lynn Fighting Knights team that has only lost once this season. They are 6-1. That only loss 4 weeks ago today down in Boca Raton against these same Tampa Spartans. A 7-6 victory for UT on April 10th. And so the play underway here this afternoon as you see the Spartans all in white with red numerals going right to left and breaking in with a shot. They score! Just like that, Jack Wood fires it past starting goaltender Colin Casey. And that fast, the Spartans get on the board. Christian Barodiak picking up the assist. And that goal coming 45 seconds into this first quarter. And a Spartans team that is averaging exactly 17 goals a game. And you see Lynn going on offense here as they bring it down into the Spartans' end of the field. The last regular season game of 2021 for both of these teams. And on the run, it's Jared Chalot. Passing behind the net, looking out in front. Davis Diamond. Now here comes a shot. Scores! Nick McCabe. And so the Fighting Knights come right back and tie it up on the next possession after the UT game-opening goal. Davis Diamond picking up the assist. And for Nick McCabe, that is his team-leading 16th goal of the season. And the Jack Wood goal for Tampa was his 22nd of the year. As you see UT setting up here in the Fighting Knights end of the field as they work the perimeter and personnel changes being made as Jake Moshe McGraw flips it for Brian Wright. And he sizes things up, has Owen Miller to his left, starts that way and gives the pass to Miller and now gets it right back. Wright, a little bit of direction with a head nod down into the corner now. Wright tried to break out in front, was being watched there defensively by Thomas Murray for Lynn. And now it's Ben French on the far side of the field. Pass and no shot available there. Moshe McGraw wanted to shoot. Owen Miller will try it, goes down, gets right back up. Moshe McGraw started to come around, and closing down any opportunity for a shooting lane was Shane Dodge. And Miller tried to take it to the front of the net and credit the Fighting Knights defense. Brian Wright works inside, hits the side of the net. The Spartan sideline erupted. They thought he had scored. Play carries on as it's taken away by UT as the Fighting Knights are trying to get their way in a wide open net. Oh, and taken down, and there's the flag thrown as Xander Cosenza put Jack Wood down on the field, and the official throwing the flag to stop play as we'll get the first penalty of the game coming 3 minutes and 1 second into this first quarter. Clearly the penalty will be against Xander Cosenza, and it's a 1 minute cross-checking penalty. And so UT will go to work here with the extra man, and it's in behind the Fighting Knights net. Now Fitzpatrick with it. Up top, Moshe McGraw to the other side to French. Back to Moshe McGraw and over to Fitzpatrick again. His shot scores! Daniel Fitzpatrick finds the top corner over the left shoulder of the goaltender Colin Casey. His 5th goal of the season. And the Spartans regain the lead. Jake Moshe McGraw picking up the assist. And now we'll see Ross Dickerson on the faceoff against Dryden Browse for Lynn. So UT capitalizes on the extra man opportunity. As you see Browse not only win the faceoff but control. Nice passing, they score. Some quick ball movement by the Fighting Knights as Caleb Wells puts it in behind Blake Ulmer. And it's assisted by Davis Diamond, who has now assisted on both of the Fighting Knights goals. So Dickerson out there to do the honors against Browse again. And the official with a violation against the Spartans gives the ball to Lynn. This is Ben Jackson. Gives it to McCabe. And now Cosenza, who had just come on as well. For Jalen Stanton, who just came on. Stanton, a pass into the corner. And hustling back there, Tommy Rudo comes out in front. Nice save there by Blake Ulmer. And the rebound, they're going to call a push against the Spartans. So possession stays with the Fighting Knights. Up top now and over to the far side, McCabe. McCabe takes a shot. That one goes wide and out of play. So Rudo will put it back in play. Surveying his options from the corner. Now starts a little move, goes behind the UT net. Out on the other side, and a pass pulled down by Cosenza. And now on the run, Stanton shoots and scores. Jalen Stanton and the Fighting Knights now with a 3-2 lead. 4 minutes, 29 seconds into this opening quarter. And for Jalen Stanton, that's his 14th goal of the season. And here come the Spartans. Setting up offensively. Charlie Bolesh, pass over for French. And behind the Lynn net, back to French again. Looked to hit Colin White in the middle and couldn't get it to him. Now there's a shot from French that goes wide and out of play. Tampa puts it right back in. Up top, Bolesh switches hands, now goes the other way. And wanting to shoot, Shane Hanlon had to drop the pass off. And it's in the corner now. Nice pass out in front, doesn't connect. And loose ball, let's see who gets there. The official with the whistle, and possession given to Lynn University, as starting it up for them is Daniel Louette. Thomas Murray across midfield. Stops, being watched there by Hanlon. Murray is joined by Jacob Couvertier and gives it to him. And another nice turnout here this afternoon. Supporters getting an afternoon of lacrosse and no extra charge for the suntan, as there is little, if any, shade to be seen anywhere in the stadium, with the possible exception of out of bounds behind the Tampa net, the shade from the tree back there. As the Fighting Knights looking for more, there's a pass and deflected and taken away by Scott Phillips as the Spartans go back down the other way. On the run, Matukas. And there's a pass for Jack Wood as the goaltender Colin Casey tried to break it up. Plenty of time here on the shot clock, 51 seconds. Jake Moshe McGraw in possession. He has an assist already this afternoon. There's a shot by him that goes out of play. And Jack Wood on the restart from behind the Fighting Knights net. Looking at his options, and the Spartans will reset up top right. Sends it over for Miller, and that's going to go high and out of bounds behind the Fighting Knights net. Shot clock now at 24 seconds. Ben French on the move. Pass to right, and nice save there by Casey, as the Fighting Knights able to chase it down in the person of Cam Holt. And now a shot coming, they score. Tommy Ruddo bounces that one to beat Blake Ulmer. And the Fighting Knights with a 4-2 lead. Comes 7 minutes and 32 seconds into this first quarter, so you might as well say the halfway point of the first quarter. And Dickerson able to win that one and sends it backwards for the Spartans, as it's over on the far side of the field. And now at midfield, it's Cormac McCarthy. His pass over. Ben French holding it on the far side. And now Fitzpatrick waiting and gives it to Shane Hanlon. And now this is Charlie Bolesh on the run. Bolesh gets past one defender. Nothing there, so he sends it behind the net. The Spartans work it quickly all the way back up top. Hanlon looking for some room to operate. Hanlon goes back the other way, wants to shoot, and 1.5 defenders denying that. So French with it now. In front, pass connects, but Colin White off balance, not able to get a shot away. A long bounce shot from Bolesh, and the stop made by Casey. And the Fighting Knights will go back on offense. Casey looking for an open teammate, and now just sends what amounts to a 50-50 ball that Fighting Knights were initially able to come away with, but it's going to be taken over by UT as Jack Wood was able to pick it up. Fitzpatrick couldn't collect the pass that would have sent him alone, but it is still UT ball. So the Spartans catch a little bit of a break there. And we're going to get our first timeout of the afternoon called, as the timeout is called by Lynn with 5:52 left in the first quarter, and we will take a timeout as well. You're watching UT Lacrosse on TampaSpartans.tv.
In NCAA Division II, student athletes leave a lasting impression on their communities. That's because Division II student athletes want to make a difference and truly be part of their surrounding communities. Through community engagement, thousands of student athletes from various backgrounds interact with community members who view them as role models. This interaction leaves a positive and perhaps even life-changing impression on all those involved. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Back live following the timeout. And the Spartans trying to get back to a 1-goal deficit. This is French looking for some room to work. French turns the corner and another defender slides over to help. Nice job there by the Fighting Knights. And the goaltender Casey way out of his net. And there's a pass that connects with Murray. His pass up ahead. Here comes Daniel Louette. Nice passing by the Knights. Oh, and what a stop there by Blake Ulmer. And watching Blake Ulmer, it looked like he kind of twisted his foot kind of strange as he was coming back into the net to make that stop. He's staying in the game, so obviously he's all right. As the Fighting Knights set up here, leading 4-2, they're out shooting the Spartans 7-4. And we're going to get a penalty called here. So an extra man for the Fighting Knights as a 30-second call has been made against Owen Miller of UT. And in front of the net, a battle, and the Spartans come out of the pack with it. And a flag thrown. Now we're going to have another penalty called against Lynn. So the Spartans, very opportunistic. They take the ball away, which in essence will help them kill off this 30-second penalty to Miller. And in the process, the Fighting Knights commit a penalty that is yet to be called. We're waiting for them to touch the ball in the stoppage and play. So the shift will certainly go by way of the Spartans as this unfolds. And Brian Wright throws it over for Miller, who obviously is back on the field after his penalty. Miller jogs it down into the corner. And Miller is going to be followed back there by Murray for the Fighting Knights. And now Miller starts his move, leaves it for Moshe McGraw. It's on the field, and Moshe McGraw picks it up. 15 on the shot clock. Moshe McGraw, spin, shoot, scores! Nice goal by Jake Moshe McGraw. And that is his 13th of the season. And it cuts the Fighting Knights lead to 4-3, coming with 3:54 remaining in this first quarter. Unassisted goal as Jake Moshe McGraw picks up his second point of the game after he had already had an assist. And the penalty against Lynn is going to go to Xander Cosenza, 1-minute penalty for a hit to the head. So if Ross Dickerson can win this faceoff, and he does, Spartans in a nice position here to tie it up. UT is 1 for 1 with the extra man so far this afternoon. And that's Fitzpatrick. Moshe McGraw sends it to the other side to French. Now Jack Wood, as the goaltender went down expecting a shot. And now Wood shot from a tough angle. Casey got that one. And now the Fighting Knights crossing midfield, going back the other way. And they are trying, obviously, to kill off the remainder of this penalty. As there's a pass that's taken away by the Spartans. Sam Collingwood with a nice play. So the turnover sets up the Spartans here for another chance to try to tie this up. Moshe McGraw looks for an open teammate. We have 2.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Moshe McGraw on the run. He has just scored. There's a shot coming and goes out of play. Be put back in by Jack Wood behind the net. Moshe McGraw puts his shoulder down. Owen Miller wants to shoot, and nothing there. Miller, it's knocked free and regains his balance. Daniel Louette with the strong defense on him. The Fighting Knights credit their defense, making it very difficult on the Spartans to get into those high percentage scoring areas. Fitzpatrick sends it behind the net. Now on the other side, Brian Wright looks to see what he can do. And that's a combination pass and shot that ends up a ground ball picked up by UT. And Moshe McGraw with a shooting lane sends it out of play. 6 seconds left on the shot clock. UT is going to have to hurry to get one off here. And calling for it up top was Moshe McGraw. As you see, Casey sends it up ahead and his teammates go back down the other way. Both teams making changes in what is playing out the way we expected it to. A great matchup here between the 6-1 Lynn Fighting Knights and the only team that has beaten them this season, the undefeated Tampa Spartans, who are 8-0. And interesting that the Spartans went on the road to defeat the Fighting Knights, and now here's Lynn trying to pay back the favor on Tampa's home turf. As you see it, sent into the corner, and now going behind the net. And is there a shot? There is. It's going to go out of play. That was Tommy Rutto, as there's just 34 seconds left in the first quarter, and the Spartans, with what should be the final possession of this opening quarter. Cormac McCarthy back to his goaltender. And Ulmer sends it over for Collingwood. Up ahead now. 14 seconds on the game clock in the first quarter. Shot coming from Jack Wood, and a save made by Casey. And the horn is going to go to end the first quarter. So an exciting first 15 minutes as we go into the break with the Fighting Knights in the lead 4-3. You're watching UT Lacrosse on TampaSpartans.tv.
2020 Spartans, one of the best collegiate lacrosse teams of all time.
Back live as we get ready to start the second quarter of play, and what an even first quarter it was. Lynn leading Tampa 4-3. Shots on goal were 8-8 in the first quarter. Face-offs were 4-3 in favor of the Spartans, each team with 4 turnovers. And you see Ross Dickerson wins that face-off for UT, and he goes right off the field. And with it is Shane Hanlon. And I think you could make just a slight argument that if you had to pick which end of the field the sun is, the Spartans are now shooting into the sun, so to speak, although really not a huge factor. They score right there in the first minute of the second quarter. A goal from in close, which is something that was tough to come by in terms of just looks at the net from in close in the first quarter. But they get the goal there to tie it up. Just 37 seconds into the second quarter. Ben French with the goal, assisted by Jack Wood. And coincidentally, the Spartans had scored in the first minute of the first quarter. As you see, possession here awarded to the Fighting Knights. And now the official at midfield isn't quite satisfied and now reinforces the decision and play resumes. And McCabe sends it over for Jalen Stanton. Stanton on the run. Pass over for Cosenza. And now behind the Spartans' net is Diamond. And here's Jalen Stanton over for McCabe. McCabe, who is from Boca Raton, where Lynn is located, but actually previously attended Rutgers. And there's a shot and a kick save by Ulmer, and a pile up in the goal crease. And I believe, and the referee has to step in between two players there, one of them being the Spartans goaltender. I believe a crease violation was called against Lynn as the Spartans put it back in play. Ulmer trots it up himself, sends it over for Badeau, and a pass connects up ahead. That's Christian Barodiak on the far side, sends a pass down low, and Wood over to White. Now this is Ben French running in front of his own sideline. Up top it's Richie Holly, all 6'4", 210 pounds of Richie Holly, and now on the move it's Fitzpatrick crossing with Holly into the corner, a pass behind the net, Wood, and up top for Holly. Holly didn't have a lane, sends it back behind the net. Two Spartans back there, and they reset up top again. And Richie Holly on the run. Holly has room, scores! Richie Holly got a better look at the net that time and beats the goaltender Colin Casey. And the Spartans, who were down at one point 4-2, have scored 3 in a row to take a 5-4 lead almost 2.5 minutes into this second quarter. It's an unassisted goal for Richie Holly. And on the season for Holly, that is his second goal of the year. And now the faceoff, Dickerson, and a procedure call against him, so possession to the Fighting Knights. This is Jared Chalot. Chalot Looks over at Caleb Cook, who had just stepped down, and now gives it to him. Cook sends a pass in behind the Spartans' net. Now quickly to the other side of the field. And a nice job there by the Spartans defensively, as it's up top now with Shalot. Shalot one-on-one there against Michael Lucchese. And a nice switch there again on defense by the Spartans. Trying to make a move back there was Tommy Rideau, and nothing available, so Shalot will restart from up top and takes a shot that's going to go out of play, and possession stays with the Fighting Knights, although the shot clock down to 12 seconds now, so they're going to need to go to work in a hurry. Eight seconds on the shot clock, and that one is going to go wide and out of play. Just 4 seconds left on the shot clock, so Davis Diamond will put it back in for Lynn. And they just toss that away as it's going to be turned over. So UT has scored the only 2 goals so far in the second quarter, and now they have the ball again as Collingwood will start it up. Gives it back to his goaltender, and Ulmer looks ahead, and down there he has Phillips. And Moshe McGraw settles it down as Brian Wright comes on to join him. And leaves it for Wright. Owen Miller joining them. Casey Platanic had been out there, and he came off as well. And has a seat on the sidelines in front of the enormous fan that's down behind the Spartans sideline. As there's a pass in behind the Fighting Knights net, and a push called against the Fighting Knights. And so a reset of the shot clock as Jack Wood, in that little bit of shadow that is under the tree that I spoke about earlier, he comes out. Wood looks in front, and cutting through was Jake Moshe McGraw. Couldn't get it to him. Now to Owen Miller. Up top is Wright. Ryan Wright. He's going to jog it down to the far corner. And Wright, all the way to the end line almost, starts his move, gets past his man, and then is hacked at by Murray. Wood with a pass for Wright. Wright has White wide open in front, and essentially Colin White would have had the wide open net, but a flag is thrown, and that's going to be against Lynn also. Now let's see what this call is here, as the Spartans were putting pressure on the Fighting Knights, and now we'll be able to continue that in the form of an extra man opportunity. And UT is 1 for 1 with the extra man this afternoon thus far. So Lynn gets a penalty assessed to the goaltender Colin Casey, a 1-minute slashing penalty. As Moshe McGraw sends it behind the net to Fitzpatrick. Moshe McGraw up top. French sent a pass over Wood for Fitzpatrick. And Moshe McGraw wanted it, and they didn't see him. So the goaltender that has taken over for the time being, Eric Suits, while Casey serves his penalty. As you see the turnover there. And UT puts it back in And out in front, oh, a nice save there by Suits. A great look at the net, but not able to beat. And I don't want to say the second Fighting Knights goaltender of the afternoon. Technically it is, but it's not to be meant in the context of replacing Colin Casey altogether. That was only for purposes of the penalty, as Lynn has it at the other end of the field now. Tommy Rideau being watched back there by Collingwood. And now that's Diamond with it. And the goaltending change being made back at the other end of the field as the penalty ended and Colin Casey goes back in the net. And meanwhile, Lynn trying to get their first goal of the second quarter as we near the halfway point of the second quarter. And 21 seconds on the shot clock for the visitors. And faking the shot there was Rideau. And takes a shot, and this time he scores.
Win goal, assisted by number 48, Tommy Rideau.
And that is his second goal of the afternoon, and thus puts him at 13 on the season. And so finally, the Fighting Knights get back on the scoreboard, and we are tied at 5 with 7:41 left in the first half. And we see another face-off here between Dickerson and Dryden Browse. And Browse comes out of the circle with it. Dryden Browse, a grad student originally from Ocean City, Maryland, the face-off specialist for the Fighting Knights. And Cosenza gives it over for Jalen Stanton. Jalen Stanton has one of the Fighting Knights' 5 goals this afternoon. Pass up top to him. Stanton, switched defensively by UT as it's sent in behind the Spartans' net and dropped and picked back up by Davis Diamond. Caleb Cook wants to go one-on-one against Matukas as you see it go out of bounds behind the Spartans' net with 23 left on the shot clock for the Fighting Knights. Cosenza up top for Chalot, who just stepped on. And a shot coming, they score! Xander Cosenza makes it 6-5 Lynn. As Cosenza picks up his 13th goal of the season. And it's assisted by Davis Diamond, who now has 3 assists on the afternoon. And the face-off now, as it's controlled by Dryden Browse. He's on the run. Browse takes a shot, and a save made there by Ulmer. Picked up by, well, now this is Justin Berg, as he goes off, and out comes a couple of new faces for Lynn. Cosenza, who only had a very brief rest on the sideline, gets a shot away that goes wide. It's controlled by the Fighting Knights, and it looks like Davis Diamond wanted the referees to make a call. He's still grabbing his face mask to imply that a Spartan stick got him in that area, but play carries on. As here's a shot coming, they score. Cosenza had a direct look at the net, and Blake Ulmer unable to stop the Knights from scoring.
Credited to number 9, Xander Cosenza. Assist to number 2, Ben Jackson.
So 5:34 left here in the first quarter. A 7-5 Lynn lead. Ben Jackson gets the assist on that goal. And UT goes to work on offense here as Ben French sends it up top for Moshe McGraw and over for Owen Miller. Miller across the Lynn line and now flips it for Brian Wright. Pass behind the net. And right out in front, a backhand shot by Wood goes wide and out of play. Possession stays with the Spartans. So a roller coaster here, as it was 4-3 Lynn at the end of the first quarter. UT then scored the first 2 goals of this quarter, meaning that they had scored 3 straight at that point. And now Lynn has scored 3 straight for our current score, as Moshe McGraw sends a pass to Brian Wright behind the Lynn net. Back up top, Moshe McGraw, long shot coming, wide and out of play. Shot clock down to 18 seconds as Jack Wood puts it back into play. Ben French on the run. French with 10 seconds on the shot clock. Owen Miller towards the net, pass behind the net, out in front, bounce shot, and what a save there, wow. Colin Casey. As there's an errant pass that rolls loose, and let's see who gets there. One player from each team going after it, and it's still on the ground, and finally picked up by Lynn. And I believe we're going to have a timeout called here with 3:53 remaining in the first quarter. So with a timeout on the field, we will take a timeout as well. You're watching UT Lacrosse on TampaSpartans.tv. Back live coming out of the timeout. I'm Bruce Wozniak, and it's a Saturday afternoon of lacrosse featuring the final regular season game for both of these teams. UT trying to stay perfect in 2021, coming in with an 8-0 one-loss record and being given a real battle this afternoon by the Fighting Knights from Lynn University down in Boca Raton, who entered with a 6-1 one-loss record this afternoon. UT has gotten goals from 5 different players, and Lynn has gotten two goal contributions from Tommy Rutto and Xander Cosenza, and then 3 other players with 1 goal each. As they go to work here on offense, looking for more. Stanton, and he's finally slowed down by Borodiak. As running it down was Diamond, and this is Cosenza now. Up top, McCabe. And McCabe giving directions as going off the field was Caleb Wells. And coming out and receiving the pass immediately was Caleb Cook. The ball goes out of play, and we have a flag thrown on the far side of the field. And let's see who the penalty is against. And it looks like it's going to be against the Spartans, as I see Christian Barodiak kneeling down in the penalty area on the home side of the field.
Penalty number 28, Christian Barodiak, 30 seconds for conduct.
And a 30-second conduct penalty against Barodiak. So the Fighting Knights go to work here with the extra man. And good defense there by Collingwood. And that one rolls right to Blake Ulmer. So the Spartans will work first on killing off the balance of this penalty to Barodiak. As they cross midfield, Scott Phillips. And we're going to get a timeout called this time by the Spartans, as head coach Rory Whipple wants to talk things over with his troops. With 2:20 left to go in the first half, you're watching UT Lacrosse on TampaSpartans.tv. Back live following the Spartan timeout, as UT puts it back into play with Brian Wright up top now and sends a pass over for Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick steps across the Lynn line. This is Moshe McGraw. Moshe McGraw again for Colin White. And French sees nothing but blue shirts, so sends it up top for Moshe McGraw. And he and French playing catch. As Fitzpatrick pushes it behind the net. 20 seconds on the shot clock, scores! Here are the Spartans down by 1. Would love to see Dickerson win this faceoff and get them in possession and an opportunity to get another goal before halftime, which would, if you're a Spartans fan, hopefully put it at 7-7 in that break. And indeed, Dickerson does control it. And by the way, if you are watching from a Lynn perspective, thank you very much. Glad to have you with us here this afternoon on a beautiful Saturday here in downtown Tampa. As now it's sent way up ahead by Bedeau. And there to recover near the end line was Jack Wood. And hold on, now we have a whistle as it looks like the Spartans are going to call another timeout as there's 1:06 remaining in the half and 53 on the shot clock. So we will step aside as well. You're watching UT Lacrosse on TampaSpartans.tv.
Let's go.
We are back. This is the Namoli Family Athletic and Intramural Complex on the grounds of the University of Tampa campus. And UT finishing up their timeout as they are looking to get back into a tie in what has been a very entertaining game so far as we close in on halftime, which is just 66 seconds away. During halftime, you will see video, and I will be back in time for the call of the second half as UT sets up from in front of their own sideline as French sends it up top for Moshe McGraw. French with it now. And let's see if the Spartans are going to use as much clock as they can, or if they're just working to get a good look at the net, regardless of the time. That's Colin White back there. There's about a 13-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. So even if they did take it down and score right as the shot clock expires, 13 seconds is plenty of time to win a faceoff and get down and score, regardless of which team you are. Now there's 10 seconds on the shot clock. French turns the corner, had a little bit of a lane, had it knocked free from his stick. There's a loose ball. Brian Wright chases it down and picks it up and just has to airmail that one back down to the Fighting Knights' end as the shot clock expires. So just 11 seconds left now here in the first half as the Fighting Knights, starting from behind his own net, the goaltender Casey fires it up ahead. It's picked off. The Spartans are going to have a chance. 3 seconds, 2, 1, needing to shoot. Wood does, and it goes wide and out of play. So at halftime, we go to the break with the visiting Lynn Fighting Knights in a 1-goal lead at 7-6. You're watching UT Lacrosse on TampaSpartans.tv. The Spartans, as I've said a couple times, 8-0 this season. They were 8-0 last season. So the Spartans have not tasted defeat since 2019. And of course, COVID, unfortunately, having a lot to do with both last year and this year in terms of not being the regular schedules that we're used to. And also the reason why there is not going to be Sunshine State Conference playoffs like we're used to seeing once the regular season ends. It will be directly on instead to the NCAA first round up in North Carolina. And meanwhile, you see play resuming here in this final game of the regular season for both teams as the Fighting Knights look to increase their lead with a shot there that goes out of play in behind goaltender Blake Ulmer. And it's put back in by Tyler Hopkins. Now quickly from up top, Cosenza on the move. Cosenza, 2 Spartan defenders on him. He still fights through, and the Spartans able to cause a turnover there as it's sent over to the far corner. Now quickly up ahead to Borodiak. And now Phillips, pass up ahead to Mosier McGraw. And UT making personnel changes here. Stepping onto the field is Shane Hanlon, and that's him receiving the pass. As going off are Owen Matukas and Scott Phillips. And meanwhile, the UT offense at work here is French. A pass over, scores! Daniel Fitzpatrick, and we are tied. 1 minute, 25 seconds into the third quarter. So you could say 26 seconds too late in terms of what would have made it 3 consecutive quarters that the Spartans would have scored in the first minute, but close enough for their fans as Fitzpatrick gets his second goal of the game and his 6th of the season. The assist goes to Ben French, and possession awarded to UT. Ben French with it on the far side. And we'll see changes again here as Phillips goes off, as does Borodiak. And Phillips heads immediately on the sideline for the Gatorade. And the players really needing to stay hydrated on this hot Saturday afternoon. And out in front, there's a shot, scores! Jack Wood and Shane Hanlon will clearly get the assist. As you see the goal there, the replay. And Jack Wood now with 4 points on the afternoon as he has 2 goals and 2 assists. And he came into this game as the team's leading point getter. He had 42 points in 8 games, so now make it 46 in 9. And the Fighting Knights on the run. There's a shot there by Dryden Browse that goes out of play. So the faceoff specialist with the scoring opportunity, and now he's off the field. And out comes Nick McCabe, and he receives the pass from Ben Jackson, who's going to head off. Xander Cosenza comes out there as well, as does Jalen Stanton, who has the ball. Stanton on the run, sends a pass into the corner to Diamond. And a long shot coming. Great save there by Blake Ulmer, as quickly go the Spartans the other way. On the run, Phillips pushes it ahead, French with it. And now Matukas over for Ben French. French has 2 goals and 1 assist. And interesting that Wood has 2 and 2 and French has 2 and 1, because they are that close atop the Spartans leading point getters coming into this game. Wood came into this game with 42. French came in with 41. And a score! Fitzpatrick again. And I was about to say a flag down on the field. I believe we're going to have a penalty probably called here against Lynn. But in the meantime, Daniel Fitzpatrick with his third goal of the afternoon, 3 minutes, 11 seconds into this third quarter. And so Fitzpatrick, who only had 4 goals in 8 games coming into today, all of a sudden has 3. And we're only a little more than 2 quarters into this game. Just in the opening minutes of the second half. And you hear the Spartans sideline roar. As you see some excitement there, Jack Wood and Michael Lucchese. So a timeout called by the Fighting Knights, and we will step aside as well. You're watching UT Lacrosse on TampaSpartans.tv.
Let's go.
On my team, I thrive to work as hard as I can. I mean, whatever you do on the field, there's a positive correlation to whatever else you do, be it personal relationships, homework, the way you carry yourself. I've changed since I got to King University. It's really helped me to develop as a leader. I think it's honestly the best thing that's ever happened.
Every second of that timeout was utilized by the Spartans, even though Lynn is the team that had called it. So the huddles break up and the players ready to resume as we have the face-off here at midfield, and Dickerson wins that one. And we'll update that statistic for you in a minute, as the ball is still loose and looked like it was going to be controlled by the Spartans, and now finally the Fighting Knights find the handle and they'll advance it across midfield. Faceoffs are 9-9 at this point. Shots on goal are 17-16 in favor of UT. And the Spartans already have 3 goals in this quarter. The Fighting Knights yet to get past Blake Ulmer in the first officially now 4 minutes of this third. Blake Ulmer to this point with 9 saves. And there's one that's going to go all the way out to midfield and kept alive by the Fighting Knights. Over now for Couvertier. And Couvertier sends it in behind the Spartans' net. And so it's going to be turned over. And UT restarts quickly as Ulmer sends it over to this side of the field. Matthew Badeau up ahead now for Borodiak. For Owen Miller, and Borodiak goes off the field, and out comes Richie Hawley. I've talked on a broadcast or two before about Richie Hawley being 6'4", 210. Well, let's not overlook that on the Spartans roster, they have 6'5", 192 freshman Ryan Kindle. And you can definitely see number 49 towering above his teammates on the sideline. And here goes all 6'4", 210 of Richie Holly. In behind the Lynn net. Now to this side of the field to Jack Baldwin. Baldwin thought he was about to have an opening, but a nice job sliding over to close that up by Mickey Troze. And Holly with 10 seconds on the shot clock. Richie Holly needs to get a shot away, does, and a stop made by Colin Casey. And hold on, the Spartans able to take it away as the Fighting Knights maybe only gave it about a 90% effort, and as a result weren't able to turn it upfield going the other way. And so UT setting back up here in the offensive zone, although Holly backing up outside the restraining line closer to midfield, and now starts his move, crosses over the Fighting Knights line. Holly takes a shot, scores! Richie Holly gets his second goal of the year. And UT with their fourth goal of the quarter, now with a 10-7 lead. An unassisted goal by Richie Holly. And this is the first 3-goal lead for either team in this game this afternoon. So let's see if this inspires Tampa to keep their foot on the gas, or if Lynn pulls up their bootstraps and tries to start chipping away, as there's a shot that was attempted but didn't get through thanks to some defense by Sam Collingwood. And the ball still loose on the far side of the field, dove at by a Fighting Knights player, and possession to the Spartans as they bring it across midfield. Pushed up ahead by Lucchese. In front, Michael Lucchese, a cross check. And they definitely call the push against the Fighting Knights. And two officials talking about it. You see right in front of the goaltender. So play resumes. And Ben French on the move, gives it to Fitzpatrick, who's got the hot hand here. Fitzpatrick with 3 goals thus far this afternoon as it goes out of play behind the Fighting Knights net. And Fitzpatrick puts it back in, sends it way up top. And this is Ben French. French across the Lynn line. French skips to the outside, pushes it down low. Here comes Jack Wood out of the corner. Wood waiting. And a pass up top for Shane Handlin. Handlin, a pass right in front, and Fitzpatrick goes down. And play continues back the other way as the Fighting Knights on the run. Daniel Louette, quick passing here by the Fighting Knights, although they'll make personnel changes. Spartans do as well, as Christian Borodiak comes out onto the field. Nick McCabe with the ball for the Fighting Knights. 6 minutes, 21 seconds to go here in the third quarter. 10-7, UT in the lead. And knocked down there by the Spartans, although Lynn able to come up with the loose ball, and The official blows the whistle and awards possession to the Spartans. So Lynn led this game at one point 4-3. Actually, they led it 4-2. And so 8-3. Tampa has outscored them since. And some discussion still down on the field as play has stopped with 6:05 remaining here in the third. And we're going to get a penalty called against the Fighting Knights. Caleb Wells issued a 30-second delay of game penalty. And so UT, with momentum on their side, now with the extra man. And they are 1 for 2 this afternoon with the extra man. And have it now down low. As here's a pass to French. Up top, Moshe McGraw. Flips it for Jack Wood. Back to Moshe McGraw again, and to Wood one more time. Now the other side. Owen Miller wanted to shoot. Now there's a shot coming that goes out of play off the stick of Brian Wright. And I believe the Lynn penalty has expired. We don't have the benefit of the penalties on the scoreboard, the temporary scoreboard, I should say. As it's Fitzpatrick behind the Fighting Knights net, a pass out in front, nobody there, and chased down, and picking it up are the Fighting Knights. And specifically that was Justin Berg. Plays it back to his goaltender, Casey. And now here come the Fighting Knights across midfield. Thomas Murray waiting and drops it off for Cosenza. Xander Cosenza has 2 goals in this game for the visitors. And with it now, Caleb Cook. And this crowd actually seems to have gotten bigger as the game went along, obviously late arriving throughout the afternoon. Perhaps some students who are on campus coming over, but always good to see the support here for this lacrosse program over the years. As the Fighting Knights put it into play with 25 seconds on the shot clock. And that's Cook with a pass over to Chalot. This is Davis Diamond, and now his pass coming in, taking a shot, was Cosenza, and now a flag thrown on the far side of the field. We're going to get a penalty called against the Spartans. And Chalot going one-on-one with Borodiak. Chalot into the corner. Chalot one-on-one with Borodiak. And that one's going to be thrown away and it'll go out of play. But we'll have a penalty called now against UT with 3:23 remaining here in the third quarter. As the official goes over to the scores table. And the penalty is called against Scott Phillips, 1 minute for cross-checking. So the Fighting Knights, who are 0 for 2 with the extra man thus far this afternoon, have an opportunity to cut this Tampa lead to 2 here in the final just over 3 minutes of this third quarter. As it's pushed over to the far side and now down low. And back up top, a pass misses. And so a miscue there by the Fighting Knights as it's turned over. And a break for UT as they try to continue off the balance of this Scott Phillips penalty. And 37 seconds left in the penalty to Phillips. So UT will look to kill it off here as it's being held by Ben French. And French looks to his sideline momentarily, now starts a move and crosses over the Fighting Knights line. That's Colin White turning in the corner. White heading behind the Lynn net to the far side to French. Up top for Richie Holly. And now the penalty has expired to Scott Phillips. And so UT goes to work with still 20 seconds on the shot clock. And Richie Holly skips across the line. Tries to get past his defender. Sends it back behind the Fighting Knights net. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Jack Wood needs to put some urgency to this. Wood to French. And a shot coming. Ricocheted off the leg of a defender. So the Fighting Knights take over as we are down to 1 minute 40 seconds here in this third quarter. And there's a loose ball and picked up on the far side by Matthew Badeau. Pushed up head in a collision as the goaltender Casey came out of his net, and I believe Colin White trying to argue his case that he was tripped by the goaltender, but the officials won't listen to the case. As back come the Fighting Knights again. Across midfield is Jalen Stanton across the Tampa line. Stanton still on the run, and a pass in behind the net. Another flag thrown, and play carries on as the shot's taken. Ulmer makes the save, and the clock is going to stop. Another flag. Now there's 3 flags down in the field, and this all coming with 64 seconds remaining in the third quarter. And all 3 officials come together inside the restraining line to talk things over, as Sam Collingwood trying to listen in on that conference, as there's 3 flags all in that end of the field. One is, for all intents and purposes, in Blake Ulmer's crease, and then equal opportunity, one thrown far to his left and one thrown far to his right. And so they've sorted it out and are over at the scorers table issuing what I'm sure will be the penalties plural. And my view is somewhat obstructed as to who is down there in the penalty area, but it looks like there's going to be 2 Spartans players that are both going to be penalized here. So one is against Nick Paré, who gets 1 minute for unnecessary roughness, and the other one is against Matthew Badeau, a body check, 1 minute unreleasable. So an opportunity here for the Fighting Knights, who take a shot that goes out of play. 41 seconds in this third quarter. And another shot coming, hit the goalpost, and it ricochets all the way out to midfield. And the official right there at midfield calls a push against the Spartans. And so possession stays with the Fighting Knights. Now in behind the Spartan net. So you see them out there 6-on-4. And there's a goal by Davis Diamond. So able to capitalize on the extra man advantage. And it comes with just 15 seconds left in the third quarter and makes the score 10-8. And it's an unassisted goal. And for Davis Diamond, now 1 goal and 3 assists on the afternoon. That is his 14th goal of the season. So the Fighting Knights, opportunistic, seizing on those penalties that were called. And keep in mind that the penalty against Matthew Badeau was non-releasable, so he is still in the penalty area as we're down to 6 seconds in the third quarter. There's a pass that misses, and it goes out of play, so turned over as we're 2 seconds away from reaching the end of the third quarter. And there is the horn to end the third quarter. So UT outscores Lynn 4-1 in that third. And as we go into break, Tampa is in the lead 10-8. You're watching UT Lacrosse on TampaSpartans.tv. We are back. I'm Bruce Wozniak, and the Spartans with a 2-goal lead here over the visiting Lynn Fighting Knights, as UT trying to keep its perfect season intact here in the final regular season game of 2021. Ross Dickerson getting ready to go head-to-head with Dryden Browse. Faceoffs are 11-9 in favor of Lynn through 3 quarters. Shots on goal are 20 apiece. And here come the Fighting Knights. Tommy Rutto, who has 2 goals, sends a pass up top for Cosenza. Cosenza over for Caleb Cook. And back to Xander Cosenza, who has 2 goals. On the run, here goes Cook, puts his shoulder down, takes a bounce shot, and that one's going to go out of play on the far side of the field. Possession remains with the Fighting Knights, as Nick McCabe will put it in from the far corner. Sends it up top for Cosenza, and now over for Cook. Bounces it back to Xander Cosenza, a graduate student from up in Bayshore, New York, Long Island area, as UT takes over here. And this is Sam Collingwood up ahead now. Barodiak, his pass connects with Owen Matukas. And Wood sends it up top for Shane Hanlon as Richie Holly comes back out on the field, and Owen Matukas will go off. Out steps Daniel Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick increases his speed, goes down behind the net, looks out in front, now stops, gives it to Colin White. Up top is Holly. Over for French. Ben French look to get a pick. French carries on back there and now finally sends a pass over for Hanlon. And 20 seconds on the shot clock. Here comes the shot. Scores! Who else but Daniel Fitzpatrick? His 4th goal of the game. And Shane Hanlon picks up the assist. And how about Daniel Fitzpatrick? Comes into today's game with 4 goals on the season in 8 games, and he has 4 goals already today. And there's still, you might as well say, almost a full quarter remaining as UT goes back into its 3-goal lead. As we are now at 11-8. The Fighting Knights in possession here. Ben Jackson with it. Daniel Fitzpatrick from Chester, New York. Long way from home down here in sunny Tampa, Florida. As there's a pass and shot coming by McCabe out of play. And dropping it was Tommy Radeau, and so the Spartans take over. And Radeau, not a good trip down the field for him. 2 consecutive plays there that he'll want to forget. And now here come the Spartans back the other way, and jumping in, Jalen Stanton into Owen Matukas. And that obviously called, and now play resumes. UT in possession here as Ben French is going to hand it off to Moshe McGraw. And the hidden ball trick here. Moshe McGraw, however, says, I got it, and I'm giving it to Owen Miller. So let's all see what Miller does with it. Gives it to Fitzpatrick. Why not? Fitzpatrick says, I'm not just quite ready yet to try to get goal number 5. Miller starts his move. And now Ben French with a good burst of speed. French has a lane and takes a shot that goes out of play. Possession stays with the Spartans. 40 on the shot clock. That end of the field, lots of spectators lined up down outside the fence watching this game from the shade. And Moshe McGraw takes a shot. That one stopped, and the Fighting Knights initially able to control the rebound. And now they chase it down and cross the Tampa line, or do they? No. And hold on, as Jack Perry went down. And so possession to UT. And they will try to get what would be their biggest lead of the game if they can score to make it 12-8. Neither team has led by more than 3, to be specific. French tosses it down for Colin White, and that's Jack Wood back there over to White again, and now French. .40 seconds on the shot clock, and exactly 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. French on the move. Pass over. Fitzpatrick wanted to shoot and now has the stick knocked out of his hands. And a couple of them get their sticks up with one another as the Fighting Knights start back the other way. And a shot coming. Save made there by Ulmer, and on the rebound they score. And the Fighting Knights celebrating maybe a little too much, as though they almost looks like an overtime celebration. It cuts the Spartan lead to 11-9, but they're quite excited on the sideline. Although if you look at the second half scoreboard, there's probably reason for that extent of jubilation, because to this point they had only scored 1 goal since halftime. So maybe they're feeling that this is a rebirth, a second life for them as they cut the deficit to 11-9 with 9:40 to go in the fourth quarter. And Spartan player goes down, and meanwhile a teammate picks it up and sends it ahead. And there's a shot coming. Oh, it hit the crossbar. Shot from Sam Collingwood as the Fighting Knights take it back down the other way. Here comes a shot and doesn't get through from Davis Diamond, and a flag thrown. Another penalty is going to be called here. There's been a lot of penalties in this game. And this one comes with 9:15 to go in the fourth quarter. Although the teams have not really taken that much advantage of these extra man opportunities, they're both just 1 for 5 with the extra man this afternoon. And this call seems as though it's going against the Spartans, and again against Matthew Badeau, as I see him kneeling down in the penalty area. He's getting a 1-minute slashing penalty. So Lynn needs to build from that goal that they just scored if they want to try to cut it to 1, courtesy of this 6-on-5 that they have right now. And there's a pass down low and a shot that goes wide and out of play off the stick of Nick McCabe. And so it'll be put back in. And up top with it right now, this is Jalen Stanton. This pass over for Louette quickly behind the net. And a return pass now, not expecting it, was Rudo, but Fighting Knights able to hold on to it. And McCabe has a good look at the net, and that means that Ulmer has a good look at him and makes the stop. And it's been a busy afternoon here for Blake Ulmer. He has made 14 saves, and there's still more than 8 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter as the Spartans making some changes. You might as well say wholesale changes, as Richie Holly comes out there now, and so does Shane Hanlon, who has the ball. And this is Baldwin, who just stepped on. Hanlon tries to work around the defender. There's a pass, and it's on the ground. Nobody able to come up with it. Now finally scooped up by Colin White. Up top now, Hanlon. And 10 seconds on the shot clock. Pass down low. Jack Wood, backhander, scores! A nifty goal by Jack Wood. His third of the game. And the Spartans go back into a 3-goal lead, 12-9, as Shane Hanlon picks up the assist. And Hanlon now has 3 assists on the afternoon. But Jack Wood, wow, 3 goals and 2 assists. That puts him at 24 goals, 23 assists for 47 points on the season. And now another important face-off here, as if the Spartans, and they don't, well, that was actually Hunter Turner that time that was out for the face-off. I was going to say, if the Spartans could have won that face-off and not only controlled the possession and the clock, but maybe gotten another goal from it, eventually time will become a factor. But right now it's Fighting Knights in possession and trying to get the deficit back to 2. This is Caleb Cook. Cook trying to go around Sam Collingwood, can't, sends a pass in the corner and now gets it right back. And quickly Cosenza sends it over to the far side, and on the run there was Chalot. He ran out of room. He's back behind the net. Chalot comes around to this side, cuts out in front, and scores. Jared Chalot. And with 6:22 remaining, the Fighting Knights refuse to go away as Chalot gets the unassisted goal. And that's just his second goal of the season. And this time, Spartans head coach Rory Whipple goes back to Ross Dickerson for the faceoff, although it's won by the Fighting Knights. And a quick shot taken by their Caleb Wells that goes out of play. And Lynn putting it back into play. Davis Diamond sends a pass up top for Ben Jackson. As the Fighting Knights within 2 with exactly 6 minutes left here in the fourth quarter. Here comes Caleb Cook across the line, being chased there by Matukas, and an errant pass. It's scooped up by the Spartans. And Scott Phillips trots it across midfield. And Scott Phillips waiting as he knows that there's changes that are going to be made. Out comes Jake Moshe McGraw. And Phillips finally gives it over to Ben French. French runs past his own sideline, sends a pass down in the corner to Colin White. White, pass up top to Moshe McGraw. And that's Fitzpatrick over to Hanlon and gets it back, and now Moshe McGraw and Fitzpatrick once again. 30 seconds on the shot clock. Hanlon wanted to shoot, and French is going to have to chase that one down. Can't get to it in time, so the Spartans turn it over. And this is a good time to mention that Lynn has had 17 turnovers in this game, and that one right there was number 12 for the Spartans. And with 4 minutes and 47 seconds remaining in the fourth, the Fighting Knights get back to work, trying to get the best of Blake Ulmer, who has 15 saves and who has really tightened up here in the second half. He only gave up 3 goals in the first, you might as well say, 25 minutes of this second half, as opposed to having given up 7 goals in the first half. So he has really shut the door here. And the Lynn coach came way out on the field, and the referee with stern words, and I'm sure a warning for the Lynn coach. And now play stops again with 4:03 left, and 2 of the officials come together to talk things over. I don't see a flag anywhere on the field. Let's see as the 3rd official comes over to discuss it as well. And certainly a lot on the line here, as Tampa would love to finish with a perfect 1-loss record, and Lynn would love to be the ones to give them their only loss, and as a result finish themselves with only 1 loss, which, keep in mind, the only loss for Lynn this season was against Tampa, and it came down in Boca Raton 4 weeks ago today, 7-6. The Spartans won down there. And here's UT in possession. Daniel Fitzpatrick, who has 4 goals this afternoon. That's him with it now. Fitzpatrick across the line. This pass to French. This is Colin White. 55, plenty of time on the shot clock. And the Spartans likely wanting to use as much clock as they can now. As you see Ben French backing up, taking his time, And French has a lane there and didn't exploit it right away. And here's Moshe McGraw turning the corner. The defender switch, and he opts out to Owen Miller. Miller just outside the restraining line, 25 on the shot clock. And now sent over to this side of the field to French. And French on the run is bumped. Has it knocked free. And are the Fighting Knights able to cause a turnover? Yes. Sprinting down the other way goes Daniel Louette. And thanks to some strong defense there by Matthew Badeau, the Fighting Knights unable to get a shot away. And it looks like a timeout is going to be called by Brian Kingsbury on the Lynn sideline. So we will take a timeout as well. You're watching UT Lacrosse on TampaSpartans.tv.
This is the University of Tampa. Explore your dreams. Discover your talents. Get ready to invent, innovate, and be a leader. This is the University of Tampa.
Back live here at the Namoli Family Athletic and Intramural Complex. And 2:45 remains here in the fourth quarter. A 2-goal Spartans lead. And here come the Lynn Fighting Knights. Pass over that was intended for McCabe, missed, and he chases it down. Nick McCabe sends a pass into the corner. McCabe with one of the Lynn goals this afternoon. And this is him with the ball now. Passes it over for Stanton. And a nice stop there by Ulmer. And quickly back the other way goes UT. And Jack Wood hears the plea from the sidelines to slow it down. And this is Owen Matukas. Sends a pass deep behind the Fighting Knights net. And it's over to this side of the field to Ben French. And 1 minute and 45 seconds remain in the fourth quarter now. French, 48 on the shot clock. So the Spartans, as you see, content to just kill off as much clock as they can. And now two defenders on French. And they're able to cause the turnover. And so here comes Lynn offensively. And there's a shot taken by Tommy Rutto and a nice save made there. Kick save by Blake Ulmer. And the shot clock is reset, of course. And here come the Fighting Knights again. That's still Rutto. Up top now with it, McCabe. And this is Xander Cosenza. 59 seconds left in the fourth quarter. The Fighting Knights need to hurry. They need 2 goals. And you can't get the second one unless and until you get the first one. And here comes a shot. Goes out of play off the stick of Caleb Cook. 43 seconds left, and we're going to have a timeout called. And that might actually be the Spartans. Indeed, Rory Whipple with the timeout. So we will step aside as well and come back with the final 43 seconds here on TampaSpartans.tv. Back live here as we get set for the final 43 seconds of this fourth quarter. Let's see if it's final 43 seconds of the game or if Lynn can get 2 late goals to force overtime, as they will start it in behind the Spartan net. Davis Diamond puts it back into play. Diamond sends a pass over, and now he gets it right back and returns once again to Caleb Cook. Stanton over for Cosenza, and a nice job there defensively by Matthew Badeau to cause the turnover. Badeau sends a pass over for Barodiak. 19 seconds, 18 in the game. And so the Spartans should be able to close this out, kill off the clock. 10 seconds left as it's Owen Matukas on the run. 4 seconds, 3, 2, 1, and there goes the horn. The game is over, and the Tampa Spartans win it by a score of 12-10, and they finish with a perfect regular season record of 9-0. And for the Fighting Knights, they fall to 6-2, and both of their defeats come at the hands of these Tampa Spartans. So the Spartans outscore the Fighting Knights by 6-3 in the second half, and they do so on the strength of a 4-goal game from Daniel Fitzpatrick, not to mention a 3-goal, 2-assist performance from Jack Wood. And how about Blake Ulmer in goal for UT this afternoon? He finishes with 17 saves, as the final shots on goal were 27-23 in favor of the Fighting Knights. Faceoffs won were 15-10 in favor of Lynn, and 10 penalties called in this game, 6 against the Spartans and 4 against Lynn. And of course, the stat that counts the most on the scoreboard, Tampa 12-10 over the Fighting Knights. And so the Spartans have not lost since 2019. Again, having gone 8-0 in the pandemic-shortened 2020 season, and now going perfect in 2021 as well. If you've been watching from a Lynn perspective, thank you very much. Spartans fans, your team wins it this afternoon 12-10. I'm Bruce Wozniak. My thanks to Andre Pyatt. And thank you for watching.